So today we're taking Ave, which is the high-speed rail in Spain. I am in economy class. It's the Avant train. I don't know what that means. I am in a first class ticket to Barcelona. The seat was large and comfortable, but I do have to say there was a significant lack of leg room. As far as train, plane, travel accommodation type food goes, this was pretty top notch. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Mantar. Thank you all so much for coming back. If it's your first time, welcome to the show. And today, my friends, we are doing the fourth and final installment on the Spain series. We have all the destination videos from Spain on the channel already: Madrid, the South, and Barcelona. And today, for the final installment, we are reviewing the trains that took me from city to city and what the experience was like and what the different trains I took were like and the different classes of service that I sat in. So strap in for all of that. But just before we get started, your friendly reminder, if you like this content, hit that little subscribe button. It is of no cost to you, but it is tremendously helpful to me. Also, leave a like, leave a comment, hit that little notification bell so you do not miss future Mantar videos. I know you don't want to miss future Mantar videos. My next video coming up is going to be a beach vacation in the northeastern United States. On this channel, we do international travel, but we also do domestic travel and vacations and all kinds of things that your wanderlust vacation-y heart may desire. So stay tuned for some beach time coming up very soon. So without any further ado, here is my experience on Spain's Renfe rail lines, the Ave and the Avant, in economy and in first class in July 2024 on the latest episode of Mantar Global, starting right now. So welcome, my friends, for a brief moment to the city of Madrid as I take my taxi cab to Madrid's Atocha station. And upon entering the station, I was pleasantly surprised at how nice and pretty it was kept. And so after finding my boarding platform on the monitors, I realized I had to go down one level. And so I took these very interesting slanted escalators with no steps that they had in the station. That was interesting. That was something I had never seen before. Well, hello and welcome to Estación de Atocha in Madrid. Look at this beautiful greenery behind me. That's uncommon of any station I've seen in the US. So we are about to take our first railway journey of this trip. I'm taking this train to Sevilla. In 2 days from now, I'll be taking a train to Granada. And then 2 days after that, I'll be taking a train to Barcelona. So today we're taking Ave, which is the high-speed rail in Spain. I am in economy class in the Ave train. Later in this video, I'll be taking the Ave in first class, so stay tuned for that at the end of the video. But for today, economy class, so I don't think I have any special perks or anything, but we'll see how the high-speed Spanish rail in economy goes, and I'm looking forward to it. I am going to try and see if there is an iced coffee available before I go find my train. So I did manage to find myself a little coffee. So after fueling up with that, it was time to head to the train. And the first thing I noticed was that there was security that I had to go through in order to board the train. And that was going to be a constant theme throughout every train I took. So that's something very different in Spain versus the US. On Amtrak, you don't have to scan your luggage, nothing. You just board your train without having to go through any type of anything resembling TSA. But for the trains in Spain, I had to go through a security control where I showed my ticket and I put all my luggage on a little conveyor belt to be x-rayed. It wasn't as invasive as TSA. There were no shoes off, there were no body scanners, it was nothing like that. It was just that you had to put your luggage through the x-ray. You didn't even have to take your laptops out. Imagine that. And so once I was through security, I was following the signs for my train, which was the 11:05 Renfe Ave. en route to Sevilla-Santa Justa. And this was looking to be a crowded train, but one thing I loved about these train trips is that regardless of what class of service you're traveling in or the type of train that you're traveling in, at least as far as the trains I traveled, I was able to get an assigned seat when I booked the ticket. So the crowds didn't really bother me, as I knew I was going to be able to go to a seat that was assigned to me and not have to struggle like you do on the Amtrak coach tickets to find prime seating real estate. So I descended down onto the platform and went ahead to go find my train car and find my seat. So for this particular journey, I was on the Ave service in the economy class section, which means I got no special perks. I was with all the rest of the peasants. But for peasant class on a train, I have to say I was very happy with it. The seat was large and comfortable, but I do have to say there was a significant lack of leg room on this train. It was not as bad as an economy class seat on a flight, but it was certainly not the kind of leg room that I'm used to on a service like, say, Amtrak. So it was fine, especially for the 2-hour journey I was going to embark on, but I prefer a little bit more leg room. A nice touch on this train was that there were power outlets at the seats, something that I was unable to find on any other train I took when I was in Spain. So thank you for the power outlets. Even though for me, they're European outlets, which means I would have to have my whole converter and it would be a production anyway, but I still appreciate the thought. Each train car was equipped with a luggage rack along the top by the seats, and there were also luggage storage areas at the end of each car. And on time, on schedule, we were off, leaving the city of Madrid and into the Spanish countryside. Now the Ave train goes fast. Its top speed is 186 miles per hour. I had no way to measure the exact speed at any given time of this particular train. I did on another train, but I would say we probably did hit the top speed at certain points on this journey. We were definitely going fast, but the funny thing is, I really only noticed how fast we were going when looking out the window. The ride itself inside the train car was smooth. That's another thing that's not necessarily always the case on Amtrak. By the way, I'm making a lot of comparisons to Amtrak here, so if you're interested, I do have a review of Amtrak's Northeast Corridor services. You can check that video out right up here where my finger is pointing. And because I was in an economy class seat, there was no at-seat food service, although I'd learn later that there was actually a beverage service that would come through the cars. I didn't know that at the time, so I did head over to the cafe car because I was a little thirsty. I did not want anything to eat, nothing fancy, but I did get myself a bottle of water. And as I mentioned, here comes the drink cart. These were most certainly drinks to be paid for. There was nothing complimentary. Same with the cafe car. I did have to pay for my water bottle. So essentially, same as in the States, if you're in an economy class seat and you want food and or beverage, you will have to pay for it. Now, I do have to say the journey from Madrid to Sevilla gets progressively prettier as you get further and further south. The pretty theme in the south of Spain would be consistent. If you haven't seen my video on the south of Spain, you can check it out here. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, from what I understand, the Ave service is known for making very few stops, which is a great thing if you just want to get from point A to point B in as quick of amount of time as possible. So for this particular journey from Madrid to Sevilla, we had one intermediate stop, and that was Córdoba. And for a 292-mile journey, that is an impressively few amount of stops. It is also pretty darn impressive that a 292-mile journey took us just about 2.5 hours. But I guess that's what you get when you're on a train that travels 186 miles an hour. So before you know it, our journey was coming to a close and we were pulling into Sevilla-Santa Justa station. That was the Renfe Ave train in economy class. Next up is going to be Sevilla to Granada, and that's going to be in one of the non-high-speed trains. and we'll take you there next. Okay, so totally lied in that video. The Avant is a high-speed train, and that was the second train that I took 2 days later from Sevilla to Granada. So here we are for the second journey, arriving at Sevilla Santa Justa station for our next jaunt. Okay guys, welcome to Sevilla Santa Justa again. This is where I got off the train from Madrid, and this is where I'm getting on the train to Granada. So I am leaving on a 12:18 train. This is the regular train. It's the Avant train. I don't know what that means, but it's not the high-speed rail. This is the regular train. So let's see what that has in store on our way to Granada. So somebody obviously needed to smack me and be like, hey, Mantar, do a little bit better research on which trains are high speed or not, because I was convinced until after I took the Avant train that it was going to be a regular train. And it was funny because as we were going, I thought, this is pretty fast for a non-high speed train. Hello. So anyway, at the Santa Justa station, I got myself a little coffee to fuel up, and pretty soon they were boarding our service to Granada. And down onto the platform to board our Avant train. Now, there is only one class of service on this particular train. It's an all-economy class train, but I must have booked my seat early. I think I booked all these train tickets about a month early because I happened to be in the car that was set up in the 2-1 configuration, so I got the seat that was just one by the window with no seatmate because there was not a second seat. I later walked through the train and most of the other cars were in 2-2 configurations. So I either lucked out really good or it was just because I booked so far in advance that I got the special car, even though it's not technically first class or anything. And the legroom was just a bit better on this than it was on the Ave economy class. So thumbs up for Avant and their legroom, although I'm not entirely certain if the cars, the 2-2 configuration, had less legroom. I don't know, where I was sitting felt a little bit more first class than the rest of the train, so there you have it. And just like that, we were off. And as I mentioned before, we were going quite a high speed. The Avant apparently goes 160 miles per hour at its top speed, so that is slightly slower than the Ave, which is 186 miles an hour. But I was still confused thinking that this was a non-high-speed train, thinking, wow, this train is going fast. There was what looked like it should be a cafe car, but it was closed, so that was interesting. Drop a comment below if you've ever ridden the Avant service. Is the cafe car always decorative or is it sometimes operational? Don't mind me napping quickly. So the distance from Sevilla to Granada is 218 miles, which at a slightly lower speed meant that the ride was about the same amount of time. It was about 2.5 hours. And I did notice on this particular train that there were plenty more stops than there were on the Madrid to Sevilla leg. But the real joy of this particular journey between Sevilla and Granada were the views out the window. I cannot tell you or properly convey in a video how absolutely, utterly gorgeous watching the south of Spain go by out your window is. The south of Spain has particularly pretty scenery. So I will say, if you are visiting Sevilla and Granada on a Spain trip, definitely do a train trip between the two. And just like that, we were arriving in Granada and getting my bag and heading off the train for my next Granada adventure. Welcome to Granada. And 2 short days later, I was back again to Granada's train station for the third journey of this trip. It's a very small station. Even though I have a first class ticket, there's really no amenities in the station. So I'm just waiting to board my train.
I am in a first class ticket to Barcelona, to the last destination of the destination series. Check out my other videos for the destinations in Spain. You don't want to miss those. But yeah, getting ready to board this last train.
So even though I had a first class ticket, I was sort of relegated to like stand around until they were boarding the train. But board they did on time, and after another quick luggage inspection, which I was an old hat at that point, we were on the platform and ready to board our Ave train for the next 6 hours from Granada to Barcelona. So immediately I knew I was in a first class car with these beautiful leather seats in a 2-1 configuration. My only issue is that I found myself in a seat that was across with a table from somebody else, but I was traveling alone. So it was a slight issue for me right up front because I wasn't sure if I was going to get a table mate, but I actually didn't get a table mate. That seat stayed empty for the whole trip, so crisis averted. But you should be aware that if you're traveling solo, just because it's a 2-1 configuration, you got to make sure it's the seats that don't face each other with a table in the middle. And because of the table in the middle, I would not have had a lot of leg room if I had had a seatmate at the other side of that table. Because I didn't, I was able to stretch out, but that's only because there wasn't someone else's legs right there. At any rate, we were off on time and getting ready to take the longest journey of these 3 train trips. And very quickly into the ride, an attendant came into the car and offered us a welcome beverage. I opted for an orange juice, which was very good during the time that I got to drink it. You see, what happened was the train was going at a pretty decent speed, definitely not its top speed, but the train was going at a pretty decent speed and had to make a fairly sudden stop for some reason, who knows. But because it was a very hard break on the train and my orange juice was sitting there on the table and I was facing the backwards direction, the orange juice, when we stopped suddenly, toppled over and made a mess all over my shorts. My shorts were completely drenched and stained, and I thought, well, I'm gonna smell like orange juice for this 6-hour journey. There was also an issue right up in the beginning of them playing the safety message over and over and over again on the loudspeaker. And because we were taking the train to Barcelona, the safety message was playing in Spanish, English, and Catalan over and over and over again. But the nice thing was, at least as far as Córdoba station, we were again treated to beautiful vistas of southern Spain outside the window. And after Córdoba, we had a very, very long stretch of not making any stops. I believe our next stop was Zaragoza, which is very far from Córdoba. And it was at this point that I noticed that at the end of the car, there were some flashing signs that were giving information about the train. And part of the information that flashed onto the sign was how fast we were going. So as you can see, the top recorded speed that I saw on that sign was 300 kilometers per hour, which equates to 186.4 miles an hour. So the rumors are true. The train does go 186 miles an hour. Also, fun fact, I did take a little walk through the train and I found out that the economy class cars, the air conditioning had broke, but it was not broken in the first class car. So A, lucky us, but B, they were actually re-accommodating some older people from their economy seats into the little sort of business alcove in the first class car so that they could be in air conditioning. So not a great look for Renfe. How does your air conditioning on your trains break down in 100-degree weather? At least it was 100-degree weather in the south. That was horrible. When I was walking through the train, I was seeing a lot of people fanning themselves and would not have wanted to be in those cars. And about 5 hours into the trip, aka the point at which I was utterly starving, the menus were finally passed around for the meal we were going to be served because of our first class accommodations. The menu was extensive, especially for train food. But unfortunately, I was super excited to try the veal meatballs, which was the meat option, and I was one of the last people to be served because of my seat position, and he had run out of the veal meatballs. So I chose my second choice option of the pasta, which was a gnocchi and a butter, sage, and caper sauce, and it came with a starter salad and a piece of cake for dessert. I have to say, as far as train, plane, travel accommodation type food goes, this was pretty top notch. The gnocchi was very good, the sauce was very good, the salad was excellent, and the cake was tasty. I ordered a Coca-Cola with my food because someone somewhere at some point had told me that Coca-Cola uses better ingredients in Europe or in other countries it uses better ingredients. I probably haven't had a Coca-Cola in likely 7 or 8 years. I don't drink any soda whatsoever, and I knew it wouldn't be the healthiest option for me, but I was like, oh, let me try it in Europe. It has such better ingredients. Yeah, it's the same ingredients. The only difference is instead of the high fructose corn syrup, it has regular sugar, which is better, but it's not this like crazy amount of it's so much healthier. So I drank about half of the Coke before my stomach started hurting, and then I just had to throw out the rest. So, lesson learned, no soda, no nothing. If I wouldn't eat it in the States, don't eat it in Europe. And because we were on a 6-hour ride, it was starting to get dark outside by the time we were heading into our final stations and finally heading into Barcelona Sants station.
This looks so much like Penn Station. All the other stations, they look like everything about. I'll tell you later when it's not so noisy.
Basically, what I was trying to say through the noise is that it really looked like Penn Station more than any of the other stations. It was fully underground. We went through a tunnel to get there. It was very, very Penn Station reminiscent. New York Penn Station, that is. There's a few Penn Stations in the Northeast. And just like that, we were ascending the escalator and fully making our arrival into Barcelona. And that was all she wrote from my train experience on Renfe in Spain. So a little review of it. I think I did perfectly with the classes of service. First of all, on the Avant train, there is only one class of service, so I had no choice on the matter. And on the Ave, I picked the perfect journeys to try economy and to try first class. Economy being on the 2-hour and 40-minute ride, which was short enough that I made do on a cafe car and really didn't need anything else special. And of course, it was lovely to be in first class on the Granada to Barcelona leg because that is a 6-hour ride. And between the 2-hour ride and the 6-hour ride, I will take first class on the 6-hour ride any day. Now, in terms of pricing, it was really, really affordable in both classes of service. So my Ave ticket from Madrid to Sevilla cost about 66 euros, and my Renfe ticket in first class from Granada to Barcelona cost me 85 euros. So that's a difference of 20 euros. Now, disclaimer, these prices are fluctuating, they always change. I am not a spokesperson for Renfe. I cannot guarantee you any fare on any route. But for me, I was able to find a fare difference of 20 euros between economy and first class. It was super, super, super affordable. All of that to say that the price range for a first class seat on the Ave does not seem like something that is out of reach for regular people. If you really feel that it's important to be in first class because you want the meal, or because you just want the bigger seat or the leg room or the 2-1 configuration, it is worth it to check the prices for first class because they will not be prohibitive for your average middle class person. And the Avant ticket from Sevilla to Granada was 47 euros, so that was slightly cheaper than either of the 2 Ave routes. Either way, you're not going to break the bank taking the train in Spain. And some things that I noticed: completely on time, even when we left late. We never arrived to a destination anywhere anymore. And I think the biggest delay we had was 7 minutes arriving into a station. They were super, super on time, efficiently run, fast trains. They will get you where you need to go, and they will get you there quickly. Again, even the 6-hour trip between Granada and Barcelona, it covers a distance of 442 miles, and it gets you there in 6 hours. So that's pretty darn impressive. For context, Google says that the time traveling by road is 8 hours and 30 minutes. So that's a time savings of 2 hours if you take the train. That to me is very worth it. Besides the fact that you don't have to be driving, there are bathrooms on the train, they give you a meal if you're in the first class section. If you're not in the first class section, there's a cafe car where you can get food. You don't have to worry about the driving logistics, directions, nothing. You can fall asleep, you can enjoy yourself. I always love to try and take trains between cities if it's at all possible. I think it's a great way to travel. So all in all, I give the Renfe service a big thumbs up. There's a few caveats. I didn't love the train stopping suddenly and spilling orange juice all over me. I thought it was interesting that only one of the trains I was on had plugs at the seat. Even the first class train, unless I blatantly missed it, I could not find a plug anywhere. So that was a little bit strange. But these are all little things, and I think overall, it's a very nice way to travel. So with that, thank you all so much for sticking with me. I appreciate it. I will be back very soon with some beach time stateside right here in the US. So make sure to turn notifications on so you don't miss that. But until then, and until we meet again, everyone out there in YouTube land, have a wonderful afternoon, evening, night, morning, whatever time of day you're watching this. I love you all very much, and I will see you on the beach in the next one. Bye-bye.